we saw with North America previously, they could have just lied to me, and we don't actually know.
Well, it looks like we're going to be seeing exactly that. As we hear the cannons going off, getting into this, of course it is the Ninja coming out here with the access to that Ninja that cannon play, the burst options. And in crew battles, that's a stressful thing to stare down at, especially with plays like that, as he goes all the way out to the left-hand side of the stage and already takes the first stock.
I mean, I feel like sometimes when you're playing against the cannon, you need kind of a warm-up to remember what's going to happen to you when the cannon is out there. So
you get hit by a satellite one time, it's like, oh, a whole matchup gut check.
So either way, man, good start right here for EU altogether. I mean, like, not a crazy amount of damage here on a 2 Sidra, aka the Ninja, but, you know, could potentially take this next stock if he is able to rob another stock like he just did that first one. He could take this next stock before he's even threatened, really.
I still can't believe that opening from the Ninja. If you talk to a lot of players, Sandstorm specifically says cannon is one of the worst weapons in the entire game. He's making it look like the cannon of yore, back when you got like one dodge read and could take your opponent all the way off the screen if they happen to make even the tiniest mistake. So that opening is very surprising. DB coming out as the opener for South America, having a little bit of a tough spot. He was previously the second player in the line for South America, as Lores was the first, but it looks like they're changing things up a little bit.
Well, luckily with the side of DB, you talk about, well, never mind. Okay, I was about to talk about, okay, he still had Scythe on cycle. Having that stock disappear, it's also a thing you're going to see with Scythe, having that quick opener, finding that D-Light, getting that punish game going. But you see Sidra just boxing him out so well. I really like the way Ninja, you were talking about the defense playing out before. Very big burst before, and now he's just gone for simple neutral wins, right back to center stage, and it's been working out so far.
Really enough, though, I feel like EU right here, as far as the EU player, aka Ninja, is the one really kind of rushing him down. But I feel like when you have this level of a lead, you know, you definitely want to push it. And if you can start to really like understand the way your opponent's dodging, I feel like I saw just maybe like 20 seconds back, he hit a neutral light and waited, and he got that dodge back in. He just did. I guess he just wasn't expecting it that quickly. So he's got a pretty good, you know, read here onto DB. Looks like this could be a stock here as well, and there it is. Good stuff.
Now, you talk about that waiting that EU is more willing to do than maybe some of the other regions. We've seen that already come out from the Ninja on this Sidra. He got a big hit to the left side of the screen. No edge guard. The soft platform was on the left side, so he just walked down on that. He stood there, waited for DB to come back to the stage before doing anything. We're seeing basically an even game. The damage lead is going to favor the Ninja just a little bit, but that's hardly anything at all.
Yeah, tone setter matters so much going into the beginning of this game here. Making sure you establish that early lead after what we saw from Wes earlier and Fiend. I don't think you want to be dropping this first match here against DB, already sending yourself backwards. But here we go, getting an opening, looking for the jump up, but doesn't really do much else. Couple nairs up the top, chasing him, TK.
Oh, that would have been such a good downlight, most likely recovery right at the end. That high up, but it doesn't matter. Still managed to clean it up with the D-Light ground pound right there on the left side. Now, again, with the way that this started, you know, you're kind of looking at Ninja like, all right, good start, but unfortunately did actually get down to a pretty close last game there, so wasn't able to take that start into like a larger lead. But, you know, you still have your stock, you still have time against the next person. You could actually make something of this.
Now, if we're talking about PRs and relative skill levels, that's that clip right there. That looks like Axe, or sorry, not Axe, that looks like Ganon from several years ago. But if we're talking about relative PRs, the Ninja is supposedly the best player for EU compared to DB, who was the third best player for South America. So the fact that that was so close between different relative skill levels based on the team, this is looking like it could be a South American victory, especially if you get Fiend in there and you get Wes in there. So already right out of the gate, we're seeing something that we might not have expected if you look at everybody's predictions from before the crew battle tournament started.
I think the sleeper defense that they're going to need is the one that's strong on defense. Simple. He's going to need to come in at some point and slow the pace of the game down, really take control of the game back, because the moment you lose the Ninja, like you said, that's your ace. You're sending him right out off the start. You're going to need to find a way to simplify the game, shut down that aggressive approach they have, and start to drain them a bit, because crew battles do get a bit draining, especially when you're watching and every single stock matters that much more. I think Simple could potentially help them in that long game, but you are not wrong. Staring down the fact that Fiend and Wes are at the back end, it's gonna be rough.
I like that you said, yeah, simplify with Simple right there.
Yeah.
So and that's kind of what he does. I mean, he has a very textbook way of playing Bodvar, who is, I mean, this character, it's middle of the ground for everything for a good reason. Like, he can do pretty much everything. I mean, he's not, I wouldn't say he's exceptional, but he gets the job done in almost every category. And when you have someone who can pilot a character, you know, as textbook, with a little bit of tricks on, you know, when you need them, you're going to see that character have great success, and that's exactly what Simple does.
Now, if he doesn't pull it off, if it's not Simple, who do you think there's a chance among the last three? Do you think that the matchups could line up for them potentially on who they send out first between Fiend and West to get themselves back into it?
I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. I think Fiend really has that potential based on, obviously, all of the history of him as a player. Also based on what we just saw a few moments ago in SA versus NA. And of course, like, we saw what West did as well. I think this first part of this crew battle going towards EU doesn't have that many implications on the back end of everything. I think Simple does have the chance to take out stock after stock after stock, possibly multiple players. We'll see where he's actually in line for the EU team, whether it's, I mean, he could be going second, he could be going third, he could be going fourth, but eyes are now on Lores. You just saw him on the screen. This is going to be a player who had sort of an underwhelming beginning to South America versus North America. Of course, that's not necessarily the most surprising thing, given he's PR 14 in his region against PR 1, 2, 3, and 4 from North America.
Yeah, it's a big step-up moment here. Like, being able to get into this position and not let the lead you have go away, because you need to, for one, get rid of this stock immediately from the Ninja. But if you get 3 stocked here, or even 2 stock for that matter, if he's able to get a bunch of reward out of just that 1 stock, it's going to be that much more difficult for Wes and Fiend to just take things out, because then they have to play a bit more defensive. They have to be a little bit more careful about the decisions. Like you were talking about Wes before, he was going off. You want to make sure he has the ability to put full force on the gas pedal.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, man. When you were talking about the fact that he is, you know, PR 14 in his own region, this is the time you really have to step it up for your team. But it's also like hard for your team to figure out where to put you when you know where the other team is, as far as like, oh, you're playing against 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, right? So yeah, you may want to send him in first, but if it goes too bad, now your team's starting like at a super huge deficit. So send him second actually does seem like a good idea. He can clean up this 1 stock, see what he can do on the next one, and then, you know, maybe not be a huge, super huge liability. Not to say that he can't also just turn up right here and actually end up being like the, you know, the dark horse of his team. So we'll see what happens, but it's not looking good right now. Quick or large combo right there coming in from the Ninja.
What I want to see from Lores here is something that we've seen from a player like Zinker in the past. Comparing to the rest of the players that he was going up against in Pro Series in a crew battle, he had a lights out performance on guess which legend? A Koji that we're seeing right here. I think Lores is really a sleeper pick this weekend. People need to not count him out. I don't know if he has what it takes to do it here, but I'd love to see him give it a try. He can build up this damage sword v sword here.
I love your eternal optimism you had there, and then you realize the deficit of percent he had. It's like, I don't know if he's going to do it here. We need to see that come through, of winning the ground pound, trying to get back on immediately, answered back by the weapon toss. The Ninja doesn't really let you get advantage on him easy. There's always a weapon toss up with the cannon. There's always another thing getting sent to the skies, much like that stock already, and he's already got one on the board.
I like that, man. You know, he could have definitely easily threatened with a down there right there, ground pound, but he decided to mix it up, knowing that was going to kill off the top. Now, this is some pretty decent damage here on to the Ninja.
Oh no.
Yeah, you got to watch. Like, when he gets a little momentum, he can definitely run with it out of that first stock from the first part of this game, but he's got a pretty good read on the way that Lores has been dodging, too. Lores has been kind of dodging or past him a lot, and so Ninja's either stepping back or he's just turning around, and it's been working quite a bit as far. There it is. Tried it one more time, but unfortunately did not get the hitter there.
Lores wanted that side sig that he picked up in the previous set that we saw of North America versus South America that gave him that stock at 156 damage. D-Light recovery. He's not going to lose that second stock. It was only 1. So Lores helping to keep South America in the game.
I think that's the best case scenario you could get out of that situation there, because the Ninja was running hot already. You saw that great start he had to start off this whole match. He was able to just slow the game down common enough, but also not overextend. There's a lot of times where people really want to hunt for that knockout, especially in a crew battle, to not let things get out of hand. And the Ninja was in those KO windows for a little while, but what did Lores do? Played neutral properly, didn't try to rush in, waited for the quick, easy KO option of D-Light recovery, and was able to close it out rather than trying to push deep off stage anytime it was, because the Ninja could have found a ground pound of dare and then took 2 stocks for free.
Yeah, and I feel like right there, I'm sure the Ninja, you know, because he had so much momentum, he was probably expecting a dodge. He let him land for free, got that immediate down light recovery. And I think in a situation, most people probably would have expected a dodge if you're that far up, plus the fact that you kind of have been reading him the entire time. But yeah, that was the one time, like, you know, change up the option one time, and it actually works out for you. So good stuff here to go ahead and make sure that Lores didn't take too much damage for his team. But unfortunately, though, as you know, crew battles go, you are going to be against someone fresh. They can pick whoever they want to go up against you, whoever they feel can, you know, eliminate you as quick as possible. So he's got to come with some heat coming into this next match.
Now we got Blaze sitting down at the table, at the setup. You just saw it on the screen. Blaze is going to be coming into this one. Now, Blaze could have lied to me. He has already been a little bit cheeky this weekend by saying he was Snowy and saying Snowy was Blaze.
Okay.
So we already have that little bit of cheekiness coming out from Blaze. Blaze is going to be essentially the 4th best person on this team, coming in at PR number 7. Known for his axe, but also known as a 2v2 player. That's where even North American players will recognize Blaze as one of the best 2v2 players in the entire world. Definitely one of the best axe 2v2 players in the entire world.
One thing that can come from the fact that he is recognized as that 2v2 player is he's been in the pressure situations before. He knows what it's like to be in that spot where you're trying to seal the deal. With Acno, of course, running 2s left and right, it's hard to ever guess against him, but can he pull it out here? Can he take that same clutch factor and put it in this situation? I think it's possible, because he has been there and he's going to be more calm compared to others that maybe are trying not to let that fall apart. I could also be capping, that is possible, but I want to see that. I would love to see it, especially with the switch up here to Val, if that's true. But how are you feeling about that with his history going into the situation, although it's ones, with what he could possibly pull off here?
You can still take a lot away from 2s. I feel like, especially if you're one of those people who actually does win a lot of like 2v1s at the end of your the awareness that you need to have to win those is like very high up, so you can take that same level of awareness and apply it to ones. It is interesting that we said that about EU though, because I think about it now, when I just think of teams off of memory, I think of probably more EU teams than like any other team. Yeah, I mean, like I look at these names, I'm like, all right, this name used to be next to this name, you know, simple like Blue back in the day, you know. You have Acno, Blaze, of course, the Ninja, Pavelski.
Don't look at Springs. Springs, everybody just threw a name into the laundry, into the dryer, and just flipped it all around. The only one who stuck together pretty much was Acno and Blaze.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, hey, look, sometimes you got to mix it up, too. But it's just, you know, it really is going to be interesting to see how this person that is mostly known for their 2s is going to play in this crew battle now, which is like even more of a different format than just once. I mean, like you have to. It's not about like, all right, maybe I can get bodied this one game and then go hard the next 3 or whatever. You have to do it right here, right now. If you mess up like you messed up, there's no second chances.
Yep. But one thing that he will have on his side, one, is LAN experience. DreamHack Rotterdam 2019 came in 1st place in 2v2s. But also, even though your performance is like physically one player versus one player, because it's a crew battle, you have a team. You still have a team. So that pressure will weigh on you, and that's something that Blaze has dealt with really well in the past, is that pressure of letting down your team. That's something that some of these other players don't have quite as much of in a high-stakes situation like Blaze does.
Well, TK was alluding to it before as well, the clutch factor of being able to actually perform in 2v1s. We've seen it quite a few times where even the interview that they had with Acno and Blaze, they were talking about who's better in 2v1s. Blaze said, it's me. It's Blaze. Every time Blaze knows how to clutch those moments out. Sometimes it's just some players just play that much better. Like you said, when you want to make sure you don't want to let someone else down. There is 3 other players behind him. There is a good prize pool amongst all of them to be split later on, and a lot of bragging rights because it is the first land back. So you know the entire weekend people are going to be talking about that moment. So I think that'll help him a lot. Still curious to see how it goes though, because even after him, West and Fiend are sitting right there waiting.
Yeah, but we're going to have to go ahead and see what happens with the rest of this crew battle relatively soon, guys. Don't go anywhere. Midseason Championship 2022 will be right back.
Hey, welcome back everyone from the break. We are still continuing our crew battles here with South America versus Europe. We were talking just a moment ago about Blaze and if he can clutch for his crew battle teams.
Blaze coming in here. Honestly, we don't know who he's going to play. In 1v1s, he'll play a lot of Bryn. That's the normal thing. Definitely an Axe character, likely coming out, but Blaze did tell me that he's playing Thou for this, which would be a little bit of a departure from what we're used to seeing from Blaze. We mentioned right before the break, Blaze, definitely known as a 2v2 player, one of the best in the world. In fact, if you talk to a lot of pros, everyone will praise Blaze and Acno. All of them together. Of course, people will heap praise on top of Acno as well because he's the strongest 1v1 player of those two. But if you talk to a lot of pros and their opinions on this team, they'll say Blaze is the one who carries Acno a lot of the time. But this is, of course, a 1v1, even though they do have a team behind them. We'll see how Blaze reacts to that as we get into this one. We are seeing some characters on the screen that we weren't really seeing before. Blaze coming in. We'll see it's sword v sword here. Ajax, there's another weapon on the field. We'll see if either of them swap to it or if we're going to get a sword v sword matchup.
Yeah, so far it's a sword ditto between the two of them. Not really trying to give up stage position or really, for that matter, commit to anything off of that. It's going to catch him on the side, and that's going to be the first stock headed over towards Loris.
Yo, okay, Loris. Look, we said he had to kind of show up a little bit here, and he's definitely doing that. Managed to take that stock. He's probably going to lose this one relatively soon, but the fact that he is able to take it first is going to put his team, put a little, I feel like a little trust in him and the rest of his team right now, looking at him like, all right, we didn't put him in. We didn't have to worry about him actually absolutely getting dumpstered. He's able to get the job done, at least a little bit.
Now, even though you're seeing Michonne on the screen from The Walking Dead, of course, you can see in the bottom on the overlay, Flores is, of course, playing that Koji that we saw previously, and Blaze did correctly indicate that he is playing Val, drops the D-Light side air. I don't know why he would even go for a D-Light side air. They're going for the D-Light recovery or something else. I'm not sure. There, picks up the recovery, gets it off the blast zone on the top of the map.
This is a good opportunity for him to get this right back to even if he can win out. Already getting some damage on, catch him with that recovery in the air-to-air situation again, TK.
I feel like, as Sparky said, he called it. He needed that recovery. He found it a little later. Said, you're right, Sparky, my bad. And now we have a pretty good game here developing from the side of Blaze. Now, he does have a bit of damage, but with the way the Brawlhalla works, man, at yellow, if you get hit in the wrong spot, you can definitely and get red like twice less. As I'm about to say,
this could be leading to it right now.
It's like, please, no, don't let me call it that hard. But no, but does manage to get back to the stage and may potentially be able to get his get Blaze down to one stock.
His stock here would be huge. It is the down signature, just barely KOing. When you send in that diagonal to the upper left or upper right, that's sort of the farthest away blast zone you could possibly send to. That's still a really strong signature. It was used really well by Lores, and it had just enough on it to get the KO. This is a huge spot, even though Lores is significantly behind when you look at the damage on the stock. We're seeing maybe some bow gameplay here.
We're talking about the potential factor that Blaze could keep that composure to get them back into this, and he's going to land a neutral sig, but not enough still. So the fact that Loris has already gotten a few stocks down, that's already huge. That's already a great spot for him. But Loris could possibly take this last one here if played correctly.
He is, he's playing around quite well. I think he does, all right, well, not anymore, but I was like, he does have to watch out for the recovery. Still has to kind of watch out for the recovery on this, but he has been getting scooped up a little bit by that immediate dash jump recovery, and I don't think he'll be able to make this one back. Yeah, goodbye. Quick side air out there.
All of that damage that was added up on Blaze's final stock, unfortunately, and we've seen this several times, is a classic crew battle moment. It doesn't matter. It's going to get reset. But still, it was only a one stock difference game, and there was still a lot of damage added up. So even though that doesn't mean anything implication-wise for the next game with that damage, it was still a really close game. If you're looking at PR7 in EU, one of the best players in all of Brawlhalla, compared to PR14 from South America. Lores still coming out here, still an impressive performance from Lores.
Look, if you look at all of the predictions, just to be clear, it is very obvious where a lot of people have led towards, and not everybody led towards South America. What a tremendous performance they are putting on so far. It's not just Wes and Fiend, even though they did perform perform extremely well getting it down to that last stock situation against Luna, who was able to clutch it out. They are still continuing that here. It was not a lightning in the bottle moment. Lores just came in after that relatively slow start for that first match, but it was early. It's the first Crew Battles match. It's the first matches on land since coming back. That was an incredible response for a couple stocks, almost possibly taking it away from Blaze, even being at 2, and they still got plenty to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw the way that he played that first Crew Battle, Lores actually really did have a hard time. And it was funny because me and Zip were upstairs listening to you commentate, and the way that you first mentioned that he was the lowest PR player sounded like you were like, just need to know he is the lowest PR. I was like, dang, why is he saying it like that? But you really have to drive it home. He has a lot going against him, and so he's going to have to like really, nut up here and like go crazy. But unfortunately, he was taken out here, still did a good job at least getting 3 stocks, and that's going to put his team at a position to still be able to overtake I would say EU. Yeah.
We do see the step up here, and that's the most important thing. And the reason I say that he's the lowest PR in all these players is, one, to give it relativity and context within the rest of these players. But like, if you take a supercar, let's talk, just say a really fast Ferrari, and you put that up against an Indy car, an F1 car, guess what? Both cars are really fast, but the F1 car is going to be faster. That's sort of the comparison that I'm trying to make is, hey, both cars are fast. Both players are really good, but one, based on PR and statistics, is faster than the other.
So, TK, I'm not going to lie, I was expecting him to say something like, yeah, all right, here's a little Honda Accord.
Yeah.
Versus I was like, I need to know where he's going with this, because depending on the value of the car, for one, everybody out in the crowd over at the H is cracking. I was like, yo, how much money is he about to put on it?
Lores is a Ferrari! He's a Ferrari!
I give Lores, he's like, the Ferrari, and then Lores, the Volkswagen here. It's like, all right, buddy. But no. I get that is actually a really good analogy though, because like again, these are the best, some of the best players in the world. Those are some of the best cars in the world. So, but one will definitely be much faster than the other. So. Lores the Ferrari will have to really step it up, or at least hit those turns the right way. And I will say that he definitely hit those turns the right way for that one. Got 3 stocks here. I think in the first group, we got like 2, 1 maybe.
I believe it might have just been 1. Was it only 1 or was it 2
against NA?
It was very close actually. So it might have been
stupid.
the 2.
I don't remember.
Okay, I remember is I looked up.
You know what?
He was getting hard comboed. And I was like, oh, this does not look great. But not this time. He actually managed to pull that one back in. Also, I feel as though South America might have learned just a little bit from how to play against EU, because I don't see immediate like, I'm going to hit a button just because you're next to me. Like there's some waiting here. There's like some thought process now.
There were a lot of whiffed attacks that Lores was throwing out in the previous Crew Battle. He was searching for something, throwing out a lot of attacks. He didn't get punished on like all of them, but still, it looked like he was searching for something rather than having a plan in mind. So I do want to give credit where credit is due to Lores for this one. And we're seeing Fiend come in yet again as the 3rd player for South America. We could see him clean this one up very quickly, just like we saw previously, but South America is less behind than they were before. So getting a stock here, we have a dead even game, and that's huge for SA.
And for EU, you're coming into this preparation-wise thinking about that spear. It's South America. Spear is going to be around there. This time, instead of the Hattori on the Wushang, and it has not missed a step. As we're looking at what could be a free stock coming in here, as we see Fiend clean house, not drop a single one. That mattered a lot for Blaze to get some damage, but nothing happened.
What a call out just to like throw. Well, I mean, first of all, that's a very fast 6, so I will, a good move to throw out, but the fact that he knew he was going to occupy that space right in front of him, like he knew that dashing was coming in, and like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this right now from center stage, gets the call out for nice thing to throw out right there and get the KO. So he's going to keep his team in it, 6-6 right now. We have 2 people left on both sides. It's going to be really down to, the rest of the team and how hard they can hold it down, who can really put their anchor in position to run away with it.
Now this is where we get interesting, because you have Simple and Machete left. You have what could be a Lancero at the end with Wes waiting. So I don't think that's what you want to have lined up. But for Simple, we were talking about how Simple's defense might be the key factor to keep an EU in it in the first place. But why?
Yo, you are sowing your feelings in that.
So sad.
It's like a read like that just makes me think about my life. I'd be like, geez. Where did I go wrong?
You're getting flashbacks into getting clapped in ranked by a Wu Shang.
Yeah.
We all been there. That ain't just a TK thing. That ain't an Ajax thing. That's a everybody.
Look, when you're trying to go on the ladder and they just decide to slide cancel DC gauntlets on you, you just unplug for the day. It's like, look, you know what? You got it. You got it. I'm done.
It's time to log off.
I'm making a sandwich. I'm done with this.
My log off moment most likely comes from the land. So if I ever get hit with the side light down or the side air down air side air, like, and I'm like, I died to this,
We're like, I get hit by one side light. That's it. It's like, all right, you got. That's it. That's you.
That's also not just the TK thing. I bet everyone in chat right now is going, true, same.
Oh man. So yeah, as we get into our, good stuff all together. Love seeing. I love seeing the crossovers, but I mean, Wu Shang, aka also Rano, who's my main in that game as well. Love to see that character. So I would play it myself more if I was better at gauntlets, but I don't know, just never really registered to me for some reason. I was like that when they first got announced way back. I was so hyped, and then I tried to play him, and I was like, I don't know why this is just not registering, so I never did.
Well, I mean, everybody's running their hands right now because gauntlets have really seen a big rise of usage of late. I mean, even just switching over to Wushang, like going away from the Hattori, going with the gauntlets. We saw the Val pick coming in before, a little bit of the same thing. We see a lot of people shifting towards that way right now. A couple of orb picks that were coming out from EU in springs, but it was usually just a few counter picks here and there. The gauntlets have just been putting in so much work, but what do you think the approach is going to be to deal with this Wushang? Because it's looking so good right now.
It's going to be simple as Bodvar coming in. I think he's going to want to slow things down, play that slower spacing game, try not to attack into his opponent, because that's something Fiend is really good at. He's incredible at the micro spacing to pick up his opponent and gain priority. TK was talking about that earlier, especially with that spear side signature, expecting someone to come in, being just a few pixels away. As they land, boom, out comes the side sig, and you grab them with it. I think Simple is going to slow things down, as we've seen Simple do in the past.
Yeah, don't hold forward against South America right now. They are thriving off of it. They're playing, like, the way they're playing, it's just straight up staring down. It's like, my neutral's better than yours. Prove to me you can open me up. And so far, when we've seen Fiend and West pop up, and it's only been a few rounds, but they are establishing their defense is significantly better, and at some point, Simple's going to have to crack. He's going to have to go in. Or do you see them actually still playing the long game out just to make sure he doesn't overcommit and give him the free stocks, TK?
I think that Simple's going to play his, he's going to play the long game out. Like, it's like a, with Simple or just EU and just slow and steady will definitely win the race while you're going up against South America, who, I mean, for lack of a better term, they are the king of the W key, or I guess in this case, the A or the
Thank
D
you for saying
key.
W key, by the way, because I said that in the past. Everybody clowned me on it. Everybody clowned me on it. Thank you, TK. We're the same.
I mean,
all right, look,
play more games, but I mean, I guess in this,
I definitely felt that as I felt that as an MMO player. I was like, oh wait, that's right, it's A and D.
So it's like, we're going left and right. We're just getting closer to you in whatever way that I can. But I mean, I'm more so interested in what weapon that Simple's going to opt to use for, because I'm thinking like, all right, you want space, you want range, you're going to drop the hammer. But his sword is never anything to sleep on either, so it really just depends on what he's feeling more today and how he's going to try to go ahead and handle Fiend's Wu Shang.
I mean, if you're looking for whiff punish game, then you're going to be going with the hammer. You're going to be looking for that big damage and the small actual windows you get. But because of how good Fiend's spacing is and how good he's been able to poke back out, like you were talking about before, he just walked him close to him. That spear is going to be a real problem for trying to do that. So maybe it is the sword. Maybe he waits it out, gets his simple hits, goes for those side airs, keeps spacing them, and then when he gets him off stage, that's when he tries to go for those burst plays, occasionally go off stage and try and find a big play. Otherwise, right back to center. No overextensions.
Now, one of the things that we were talking about a lot on the pre-show with just the overall idea of this weekend with all of the regions coming here is we're getting to see matches that we have never seen before.
Very big true.
Because some of these players are new and have never gone to a LAN, so they've only played games in their region. But in the case of Simple and Fiend, they have traveled to LANs in the past, but in 1v1s, they've never come up against one another. It is 0-0 in career official LAN tournament sets, which is, it's crazy. This is a dream match right here.
I mean, that is going, that's going to, well, I feel like that right here, obviously, just because it is still Cruz, may not take it too hard, but at the same time, losing here, it's still going to be in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys end up playing again later, you're going to be like, I did lose him that one time in Cruz. So you have to kind of keep that, fresh on your brain. But, hey, I'm still excited to see a first-time match between these guys. So let's go ahead and get into it as things roll into our second to last. Yeah, not here. Never mind. Not yet, but we're getting there. We're getting, but our second to last character on both teams right here. We got an anchor left on both sides. Who is going to be the victor of this part of the crew battle?
Well, big thing we were talking about, you were both alluding to the fact that, you know, dropping that match, even in crews, we'll kind of get into your skin a little bit, but in crews, pride is on the line. Pride is on the line always, especially being back at this first LAN, having this first matchup come up. You really want to establish that dominance. You want to have that first W, and you want to let everybody know it. But with this team lineup left, because Wes is in the back, it's hard to try and go for that super dominance. Because for all we know, Machete could also pop off too. That is also a thing that could just happen from Machete as we see them go into now this match. 6 stocks apiece. Who takes the lead?
Now, even though this isn't a Sunday 1v1 grand finals type set, we're only on Friday, this is crew battles, but still, this is a normal pick for Fiend. This is a normal pick, a normal 1v1 pick for Simple. They're coming into this game 3 stocks to 3 stocks. This is essentially a regular tournament set. So this is still a standard 1v1, even though it's on Friday, it's the crew battle tournament.
Look, man, when you come to these type of situations where, you know, we have longer days or we have more events within one weekend, yeah, everything really does count, though. I mean, you can say, oh, we didn't really try, but the thing is, like, you're still, it's going to weigh on you. So I feel like no one here wants to let their team down. I think everyone's going to be trying to their fullest, and tomorrow will be even better. You know, we're going to get some crazy action throughout this weekend, but as of right now, we're trying to see which crew, which area as a team together can show a united front. Good start right here from Simple. Go ahead and taking that first stock.
Simple not only got that first stock, but he was baiting swings out of Fiend. He was playing around, got the D-lights out of the spear, punished it. He got him to go high in recovery. As soon as he saw it happen again, punished it. That was a really good approach to Simple, and he's still dodging him right now.
Spear in hand. Even though Simple's at the weapon disadvantage, again, we're not seeing him immediately go in. Something that Fiend was doing in the previous crew battle as well. The weapon-starved game is on the table for Fiend. He's going to have the option to do that yet again, maintain stage control as he gets that first stock from Simple. He is a little bit behind in the yellow compared to the basically fresh stock. Ooh, that's a nice little 3-piece, 4-piece,
He's starting to read some of these dodges consistently out of Simple. He's still going.
He doesn't even make meals that big.
Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, we were about to count up like we were still doing a noise check here, but almost got to a 10-piece real quick. But regardless, he's like starting to turn around himself now. Even with all those hits and all that momentum, it is still a relatively even game. And
got the late hit and a ground pound after he tried to go back for the wall touch. All you needed is a hammer and a dream there to steal that stock away. But after getting hit by that ground pound, that takes quite a bit away from you, and he's already getting the damage off with the nair. He keeps it going.
Man, I have to, you know, sometimes when you're trying to get away from that spear now, it really shows you how wide it is. You know, he's just coming at you, you're like, all right, maybe I can drop down fast enough, but no, it was not fast enough to get away from him. Also, it looked like you saw the recovery actually get hit, so you noticed that he was probably trying to hit right in the middle, the one small, you know, weak spot of that ground pound, but he was not able to line it up as well as he wanted to. But now, just kind of getting ran over. Fiend. Like, he might be able to end this with 2 stocks if he can find maybe like 2 or 3 extra hits or a good edge guard right now. No weapon in hand, though, unfortunately, so he's got to play a hard battle. Good stuff. Finds one right here.
He's keeping it going. The weapon toss did disarm it. Max range, D-light side air from Simple. At least keeping the stocks even in this one. But this is huge. Coming in here, immediately able to grab the weapon. Simple not able to weapon starve. That's a nice sidelight. I'm surprised he didn't go for a D-light that could actually have a true combo follow-up rather than the sidelight. Maybe he just wasn't sure on the spacing. Thought Fiend might be moving away too quick.
I think it was how much he got hit before. It might be making him second-guess himself quite a bit here. But no matter what, you have to look at this as hammer and a dream is still possible at any time. If Fiend cannot close it out soon, trying to get the weapon toss and get the dodge up or jump up with the recovery. But here comes the weapon spawn. Here comes the hammer, and Fiend hasn't gotten too many hits over the past 15 seconds or so. Simple can get back into this, but that side air sends him deep off stage.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, one of the things that I am noticing much more for Fiend was the fact that he was getting a lot of you know, kind of bait and punishes going. Like he would be in your area, kind of threaten you to, all right, man, he's so close, I should probably swing. Manages to get the perfect dodge around that, perfect backstep around it, and get the punish. Now there is a couple of times where he went for that with his own move, so he ended up getting punished. But at the end of the day, if you were to go back and watch a lot of that tape, you would see him just getting a lot of whiff punishing there, just by baiting you to think I'm in an unsafe area. Psych, not really. I'm going to move out the way and now get my punish.
That was really good adjustments too, because that whole first stock, Simple did that to him. Simple dodged, baited, and got around everything he tried to do as a combo starter, and then he went and got that big Zaxby's meal you were talking about there. It just kept it going, and it never went away.
One of my favorite things about watching Fiend as a player is he makes weapon tosses look like the greatest thing, the strongest thing in the entire game, but he makes his opponent's weapon tosses look not so good because he seems to know when they're coming. He doesn't get caught by them like other players do. His dodge seems to always be up. It seems to always be put in the right place to get through those weapon tosses.
Yeah, like stage positioning matters so much, but seeing someone trying to use the weapon toss as a burst to just regain stage control, and you're getting around that. Now they're unarmed. Now they're sitting there feeling lost because they have no way to reopen up neutral, and you just get to take away tempo control, and that's pretty much what happened as it went on. And I'm Fiend with this one stock left, and Machete having to play with these three. I genuinely fear for Machete approaching with these side lights or these side airs with Ogrim, because Fiend is dodging everything, and he could get cooked. I think he's going to need a Lance game. The best way to put it, it's like, I'm going to need to take away and steal every stock to hopefully get back in this.
Yeah, he needs. I think there's going to be a lot of overextending he's going to have to throw out with his attacks. You know, and the Lance is really good at overextending because, I mean, it is a very mobile weapon as far as, like, when you hit a button, it covers a lot of areas. So, well, let's have to see how that goes, and if it's even an issue, because, again, with the way that Fiend is playing right now, I'm not saying that he would do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to take, like, 2 stocks before and make it just a very easy, a very easy take here for Wes.
So I am really curious about what Machete is going to be playing into this, because his most played legend, like y'all were saying before, is the Ogrim. I asked him earlier today who he's going to be playing, and he said, of course, the Fate.
Oh, right,
which isn't quite as high, but as we know, players lie. But
True.
I don't think the French would ever lie to me. I don't think the French would do me that dirty and lie right to my face. That could be what he's playing, but also, if I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I'm seeing the performance that Wes gave earlier with the Ogrim, the explosive power of the Lance, the explosive power of the Axe, the spiking ability of that Axe down signature when we saw the stage spike, sending him down, those huge moments. I don't necessarily see as much of that from Fate players specifically, so it could be a changing mind going into that Ogrim.
Yeah, also something very unfortunate is going to happen to you now is everybody who's watching who registered for BCX is going to hunt you down, and they're going to tell you incorrect information on purpose. And that is just not, it's just not a good timeline. It's not a good look. It's not going to look lie to people. However, on occasion, we do enjoy watching Sparky kind of suffer up here a little bit. But we do a little troll. We do a little troll time to time. But hopefully, he didn't lie to you, because we would like to. I honestly think the Ogrim is like what's going to get him back into this game. With the Fate can do it too, but the Fate doesn't have that explosive factor outside of the Scythe, and I don't know with the defense that we're seeing so far if those Scythe openings are going to happen. I could be completely wrong. I would love to see it. I love being proven wrong, but you got a big hill to climb here, and from the looks of things on the side of that, it looks like it's going to be the Fate.
Yeah. I told you the French would never lie to you.
Okay, all right. Sparky is 1 for 3 today. He's moving up.
I've been gassing up the French all year, so they better not lie to me. That would be an ultimate betrayal.
Yeah, see, the thing is, where you say that, like, you know, obviously she doesn't have, like, the explosive power where it comes to the SIGs. Her power is in her stats. She has one of the highest forces in the
absolutely
team,
true.
So it doesn't really matter what 6 she throws out with. More than not, if she gets you into that deep red, if she hits you with any of those 6, barring, I think, whatever the warp star aim down, like, you're probably going to die.
I think you're exactly right with that, and I'm glad you bring that up, because my talk about the explosive power was more about play style versus character. So you're exactly right when you bring that up, TK.
Look, this is one of the characters when I tried to play Scythe, I picked her up mostly just because, well, 1, I love Orb, and 2, I saw those stats and was like, that's for me. That's for me. Every hit really matters. I love it. So Here we go, though. Unfortunately, the only thing getting hit is this Fate, but, oh, just barely touching that wall.
Just kind of glazing the bottom there, but there's the D-Sig, and that is a stock already gone. The damage is done. All you needed was one stock on the side of Fiend just to make it that much more difficult for them to make a comeback. But here's the extra problem. Fiend still has barely been hit. Here he goes. Goes for the GCT light and continues going for the Cider off stage, trying to go deep for that. That's a play we see him go for all the time. The first time we've seen it come out so far here.
Okay, man, this is just a lot of unanswered damage here on the side of Fiend. I mean, he has been doing it everything, and Machete has just not really been able to find any real good hits. I mean, you obviously, you know, some hits have been put on, but look at the fact that Machete is going to lose their second stock. Barely even threatening this stock of Fiend.
Sparky, we are currently seeing a cookout via one chef being Fiend. We are seeing EU currently being thrown on the grill. I don't know what other answers they got right now.
My man's got the knife skills because he is slicing and dicing up EU right now. Fiend's performance today, that's what we've been wanting to see for so long. His performance on LAN. Is he going to get this stock? No way, right?
It's looking over as he gets him with the D-Sig again. You got one stock in it. Look, you better start turning around right now and say, hey, so we get McDonald's after, right? Looking like that money not really getting split the same way we were hoping before.
They're going to be looking for a Wendy's 4 for 4, man. Because I've seen Big Mac prices. They're getting up there. You may not be able to
inflation
make it
hitting your wallet and your gut, especially over there. But we see a stock finally disappear. And one stock left in hopes of EU to try and get a W, and here comes West, TK.
Man, and you know how you were talking about those weapon tosses from Fiend, right in the middle of that second stock, well, not right at the end of that second stock. That double weapon toss really just kind of set the tone of what exactly you were talking about. Like his weapon tosses, it makes you kind of rethink how good weapon tosses are when you're watching him play, and he was able to do that and then turn it into you know, a stock right after just by hitting that side air and pushing him off the stage. So, I mean, good stuff here. Well, nice read. but just good stuff here to Fiend to make sure that you, oh no.
I'm sorry. Look, I forgot that this gets so placed. That was definitely at the moment where I said it's over. It's over. It's over. I'm surprised. I'm glad to see that we still got another match here, and I love comeback stories. But Sparky, tell it how it is.
It's one stock. It's one stock to 3, and it's West, man. It's West. It's the best that South America has to offer. PR #1 in 1v1. One of also the best 2v2 players in South America as well. Machete is going to have to put the entire region on his back here. EU likes to talk a lot of smack, most likely because North America also likes to talk a lot of smack about EU. So you know, since there isn't PR 1, 2, and 3 here at this tournament for EU, everybody was kind of saying like, oh, well, you know, this doesn't really count for EU, right? Because the best of the best isn't there. That means that you're discounting the Ninja, Machete, Simple, and Blaze. So you know they probably have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and want to say, look, we don't need PR 1, 2, and 3. But I think they might need PR 1, 2, and 3 if you ask me.
I think they might be looking to God right now. One Godly who is not here, and Akno, of course, not being here. So, but like you said, you get that chip on your shoulder. You want to come out here. You want to come out swinging. You want to make sure that you can prove to everybody that you could still compete even without that. However, reality has begun to settle in. And also, I was looking at Twitter before I hopped on for this block as well. People have been going crazy looking at what we're seeing out of South America, seeing out of West and Fiend, and even Loris' performance a little while ago. This is not going to be free. And but granted, North America does have a W on their side, so they have one more set to go up against EU. EU could play the party, like, just ruin the whole party for them if they can get a W against them. But right now, it's not looking too hot.
Unfortunately, I don't think that it is over.
EU is 0-1 now. Based on that performance we just saw, I don't put a lot of weight in the ability of EU to take it over North America. So we could see EU going 0-2, North America going 2-0, and right in the middle, a 1-1 South America.
Well, it would all depend on if they're able to find some magic, some lightning in the bottle, but they have a lot to think about going into that next match after drop. Like, hey, do me a favor, can y'all actually just like sneak this W out so we could get that rematch, so we could get the attempt at trying to get that match?